Hey there, you're listening to 88.3 WXOU from Oakland University. My name is Logan Pizzurro, and joining me today is a very special guest, comedian, musician, and YouTuber with over 3 million subscribers, Daniel Thrasher. How's it going, Daniel?
Woo, it's going good. How's it going?
Going great. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun. I think this is my first radio interview ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you're the one. You're the chosen one.
Well, welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the realm of FM. So, yeah, Daniel, you're going to be coming here to Ferndale at the Loving Touch on June 20th. And listeners, stick around to see how you can win free tickets here. I just thought we would kind of talk about what kind of first led you to YouTube. So what kind of encouraged you to create your YouTube channel?
Oh man, I created my YouTube channel in 2007 when I was 13 years old. I'm 29 now. I don't look it, but I am. So I used to make projects in English class, video projects, so like video essays based on whatever book we were reading at the time. And I needed a place to put them, and YouTube was the place. And then eventually I started making videos on my own, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, definitely. And when you had your first viral hit, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but your video about how you accidentally wrote the theme to The Office,
Yeah.
how did that feel to just have that first viral hit?
You know what's crazy about that one is I uploaded that when I was 19 years old in college. I had a piano next to my bedroom. So the video is called How I Accidentally Wrote the Office Theme Song. And I just posted it as a little story for my friends, and maybe fans of The Office, I don't know. But that video existed on YouTube for 5 years before the algorithm changed and before it started picking up steam. So it was
Oh,
like
really?
stuck. Yeah, it was like
Wow.
stuck at a
Okay.
low view count for a long time. So it wasn't like I posted it and it went viral. I think today it has over 20 million views.
Yeah.
But at the time I think it took 5 years for it to touch a million.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, let that be a lesson to everybody. And just persistence is key. I don't know. I don't know what the lesson is, to be honest. Just wait for YouTube, maybe. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
no moral to that story.
And kind of speaking about YouTube, you said how, the algorithm has changed over the years, and YouTube as a whole has changed dramatically over the years.
Oh yeah.
And what do you think has been the biggest change since you've been on the platform?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about early days versus new days, I would say so like the old days, clickbait was a big, big thing. I don't know if you remember like a bunch of clavage and thumbnails all the time,
Yeah.
but that was like a big thing when I was younger. And the reason was if you got a click, then you were ranked higher. So like the click through ratio
Okay.
was really important. But now, YouTube has sort of prioritized watch time. And what I mean by that is like the percentage of time watched on the video. So like if somebody watches like 80%, 90% of your video, then YouTube's going to be like, "You know what? That was a good video. I'm going to serve that to more people." So I think honestly, a lot of people complain about the algorithm, but I think it's gotten better at predicting what people are going to like or dislike. It's certainly a lot different than TikTok's algorithm, where there's no emphasis at all on the title thumbnail combination. It's just like you're suddenly thrown into the deep end of a video. But, with YouTube, it's sort of an interesting, like you have to be good at marketing to be good at YouTube. You have to still the title thumbnail matters. But for the most part, I would say the algorithm's better at predicting audience intent and what they would want to see. Like me personally, I'm addicted to YouTube. I'll open up the app and I'll watch like 40 videos on the new Ford F-150 Lightning that I'm like into for some reason. I want an electric truck. I don't know why, but YouTube is serving me like all kinds of things adjacent to that now. Anyway, very strange.
Yeah, it seems weird how if you just like find one video that's kind of just like an offshoot for you, it's just like that's all you see all of a sudden.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and
Constant.
you mentioned TikTok, and I've noticed that you've been uploading some of your sketches onto TikTok. And how has that impacted your career?
It's weird, man, because sometimes I get recognized as a TikToker.
Oh,
I live in
really?
Los Angeles. Yeah, it's strange. I once went bowling with a friend of mine, and this group of kids came up, and they were like, are you the guy from TikTok?" And I was like, "I mean, maybe. I don't know." Like at the time, I had 1 million followers on TikTok. Now it's like 2.2 million or so. Um, but I wasn't used to that, and now it's very strange. Like, you know, it's the difference is if somebody knows who I am from YouTube, they know my whole name. But if
Right.
somebody knows me from TikTok, I'm that guy from TikTok. You know, it's like a completely different thing. But I would say it's a good thing. It's fun. It's more experimental. Sometimes a video will do really well on TikTok that didn't do well on YouTube. It's a strange like thing you got to do now. You got to put videos on every platform.
Yeah, and when you do write your comedy sketches for your channel or TikTok, what is your scripting process?
Wow. Okay. So check this out.
Okay.
It's very arduous. It's very long. And okay, so at first I'll have like a brainstorming session where I just write down all of my terrible ideas. And like I want them to be bad in the brainstorming phase. Like, a lot of people are very precious about their ideas. Don't be. Just throw as many of them up onto a notepad as you can. Um, I have a list on my phone of at least 1,000 ideas.
Oh, wow.
Literally 1,000 ideas,
Oh, man.
and like maybe 100 of them are on my channel right now. But the goal, whenever I do a brainstorming session, is to try to write 50 terrible ideas. And the thing is, that's impossible. Like, if your goal is to write 50 awful ideas, by idea number 23, one of them's got some polish to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of them is decent. Um, but you just gotta throw it up there and see what sticks, and you'll know. I don't know. There's something instinctual to where you're like, that concept is really nice, and then you flesh that out. So I'll flesh that out on a Google Doc. I'll write a really quick rough script, stream of consciousness. Like this character says this character says that, and this is how I'll end the video in a punchline. But like then after that, I'll put it into a proper scripting software like Final Draft. For the listeners out there, I play a bunch of different characters, generally around a piano. Sometimes it's more of a straight sketch. If you've seen me on TikTok, you might know me from like the social anxiety character, or the other series that I have when you accidentally write songs that already exist. But a lot of that, because I play all the characters, I do need to script it very particularly, like with different characters, and it's very particular. It also saves a lot of headache on the editing side as well.
Yeah, and it seems, almost a little crazy to just like be able to make all of these characters unique from each other when it's all you. So it's really interesting.
Glasses help.
Yeah,
I'll put
glasses
on glasses
and
for
hoodies,
one, and I'll take them off for another.
Yeah, and one thing that I wanted to mention is that you've been in 3 commercials, and the only reason why I'm mentioning this is because I remember like way back seeing that one Vonage commercial you were in, and it was
Oh, really?
it was stuck in my brain for some unknown reason, and then like a couple years later, I saw your video about what it's like to be in commercials.
Wow.
and I was like already watching you, so I was like, wait, hold up. So it was a really interesting connection that just happened there. But
That's so funny.
is there one thing that you learned from your experience with being on commercials that you've applied to your channel?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I have more of a team. So I work with 5 people full time who help me create the insanity that is my YouTube channel and my live show and all of that. But whenever I'm on set, I notice how people treat each other, and how that either makes or breaks the vibe. Like, you generally want morale to be high, because it's a high pressure situation. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I'm looking around, I kind of snoop around, and for me in particular, I'm looking at how they put on my lavalier microphone, like how they mic me to where they can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me, like where they position the microphone on my chest. And like, I don't know if you noticed this, but in a lot of my videos, I wear a V-neck. I wear a black V-neck t-shirt. And the
Okay.
reason for that is because I can hide the lavalier
Oh.
microphone right next to like my sternum.
Okay.
It's a perfect position, and it's not very visible, and it sounds great. And so that's why. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I'm on set, like I was in a Jimmy John's commercial last year that was directed by Craig Gillespie, the guy who directed I, Tonya. Like he has an Oscar, and and I was in this ad. I was supposed to be in this ad opposite Brad Garrett, the taller brother
Oh
from
yeah.
Everybody Loves Raymond. And like we had a whole scene together, and like I had a joke, and like, it was this whole thing. It was shot for the Super Bowl. And dude, the only thing they put out there about me was like my kneecaps running down a staircase. And that was really disappointing because last year I had a couple million subscribers, and I was like, why aren't they using my face? Like what? I don't know, man. So maybe also commercials can be a little humility check as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've excuse me, you've collaborated with a lot of different people, most recently Moist Critical. And the one
Mhm.
that really stuck out to me was Nathan Kress, or Freddy
Yeah.
from iCarly. And I was just wondering, how did that come together in the first place?
Nathan Kress, aka Freddy from iCarly, is a homie. He and I actually have the same manager in
Oh, okay.
terms of auditions, like Hollywood audition type stuff. So he used to come over all the time, and I would put him on tape for like movies and TV shows because I have all the camera equipment. And because we have the same manager, she was like, "Hey, you should go over to Daniel's house and do an audition with him." So I used to put him on tape for stuff, and then we made a lot of. And so the sort of instead of him paying me, the trade-off would be like, "Hey, man, you want to be in a video of mine real quick?" And so what would happen would be the night before, I would just go crazy. I would go on Instagram. Hey, does anybody have any sketch ideas? Like, this is back in the day. And I was like, help me write something for Nathan. And one of them was like, when your bro is an alien or something like that. And so there's this video that we did years ago that I don't even know if it has any views on it, but this was my old apartment in Hollywood. We were sitting on a couch, and the idea was I was confessing to him that I was an alien, and uncooked pasta would jet from my mouth. And then and that was like my alien thing, right? But at the end of that sketch, Nathan Kress, aka Freddy from iCarly, watch it on Paramount Plus, would be like, you know what, bro? I'm an alien too. And he'd spit up pasta sauce. Okay, so that was the punchline. However, I didn't have any pasta sauce at the time. What I did have was salsa. Okay,
Oh,
and so I made him, I made him fill up his mouth with salsa,
okay.
and 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 he was supposed to just kind of let it dribble from his mouth into a bowl that was out of frame, but he laughed, and he laughed so hard that he spat salsa all over my lightly colored couch.
Oh
And
man.
so to this day, I don't own that couch anymore. I gave it to my old roommates. But they call it the Nathan Kress couch because there are stains of his salsa-y spit
Oh man.
all over that couch. He paid to get it cleaned, but I think it's worth more not being cleaned.
Yeah. And who are some of your inspirations when writing sketches or music or even for your live tour?
Oh, man. I've got three big ones. So the first one is Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. A lot of people don't know this, but Donald Glover was the number one. He was responsible for the number one sketch comedy channel on YouTube, and it was called Derek Comedy. This was back in like
Oh.
2006, 2007. Most people don't know that.
Huh.
But he was a big sketch comedy guy from NYU and UCB, and like, he was just big into comedy, and he was so funny to me when I was like 13, 14. He was a major reason why I started making funny videos with my friends. So Donald Glover is one. Two, obviously Bo Burnham. Dude's really funny. He's by a piano. What are you gonna do? You know, you'd be hard pressed to find any YouTuber who isn't like directly inspired by Bo Burnham. Like right after Inside came out, everybody started doing like high quality videos and like everybody's got a projector all of a sudden, and you know, in terms of like, I don't know, YouTube videos. But so there's that. And then actually Balloon Shop was an old inspiration. They're starting to have this resurgence on TikTok now. I think somebody's like uploading their old videos. But Balloon Shop was this sort of absurdist thing pioneered by Olin Rogers, who has a show on TBS called Final Space. And a lot of people know him from like his I Pooped in the Stalls story, or like Ghost in the Stalls. Anyway, but they're this very absurdist sketch group. But what I like about all three of them is like I'll steal from each. So from Bo, something I like about Bo is his joke density. Like he will just stack these jokes right next to each other. So if you don't like one, that's fine. There's another one coming in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like that's Bo Burnham. That's what I like about him. With Donald Glover, what I really liked about his performances in Derek Comedy on YouTube is that he was so committed. It was like life or death no matter what. And then and so I stole that from him. And then with Olin Rogers from Balloon Shop, I learned not everything has to make perfect sense. Like sometimes a weird thing is just weird and that's funny, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like do my best as one person to assemble like the Avengers of comedy, you know, like trying to become Captain Marvel and defeat Eurydice. I don't know Avengers very well.
Yeah, and also recently, Rhett and Link's Mythical Creator Accelerator Fund invested in you. And what are some of your plans? What do you plan to accomplish with this?
Listen, Mythical, a.k.a. Rhett and Link, a.k.a. Good Mythical Morning, they are a machine, okay? They're amazing. Rhett and Link went to school for engineering. And
I actually didn't know
they
that.
figured out a way to create a machine that can enable them to be very creative all the time. They like have automated this process of creativity, which is amazing. And so with them, they're essentially helping me hire the right team to be able to give me the best chance at longevity. Apparently Link's daughter was a big fan of mine and she showed him all my videos. And that's how it sort of got this ball rolling, which is super cool.
Wow,
Cause like, you know, I love Rhett and Link, man. They're classic.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so with them, you know, the goal is to start doing some really heavy hitting stuff brand wise in terms of like, you know, I'm going to go towards Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram and, you know, YouTube and live shows and books and maybe a movie and maybe a TV show and maybe, so like the goal with them, they're going to flesh me out to be a more 360 creator, because right now I'm sort of really strong on YouTube, pretty strong on TikTok, and that's it. Like, but it's tricky. I mean, it's a tricky thing because like now more than ever, I feel like everyone has to be sort of a Renaissance person to where they have to be strong on all fronts. You know, Donald Glover's a great example of that. He created Atlanta. He also created Redbone. You know, he's like a genius. So they sort of want to help me enable my most ambitious self, which is great.
Yeah, and I know that, you know, we were just talking about how, you know, there's a lot of time-sensitive stuff. Your schedule is pretty packed most of the time. So when you do have free time, what are some things that you like to do?
That's a tricky question, man, because I don't have a lot of free time. What I do like is, you know what? I do enjoy playing Rocket League. I love Rocket League.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that is a car game with rockets. So it's like little Hot Wheels with rockets behind them playing soccer,
It's
and
such a
it's
weird
great.
concept. It's, I mean, our school actually, I think this year, has a Rocket League team now.
Really?
Yeah, and I think they're like going to like the World Championship or something
Oh
crazy
my
like that.
gosh.
So yeah, it's pretty insane how this whole thing, even like esports in general, has just taken off suddenly.
And that's amazing. And Rocket League is one of those games too where like you really got to be skilled to be great at
Yeah,
it. Like, it's tricky.
yeah,
It's a game you can't just jump into. You have to like
right.
practice like a sport.
Yeah, I played it for a little bit and I was just too scared to join a public lobby, so I was just playing with bots all the time. It was
You'll be fine.
so yeah, let's talk a little bit about your tour. So one thing that I was just kind of curious about is that you are currently living in LA.
Hmm.
You did do a show over there, and I was just kind of curious that like, what was the decision to suddenly do 5 shows just in the Midwest? I thought that was kind of interesting because usually there's like artists will kind of just like skip Michigan in general. So and you're doing
Yeah.
2 shows here. So
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't know. I work with a touring company, Real Good Touring. They do a lot of really cool stuff. I think they also did the Creator Clash in Tampa.
oh,
Like
okay.
they just sort of have tendrils everywhere. And basically, what's happening is these are going to be 5 shows in the Midwest. That will be awesome, and they're like people who I guess don't get a lot of YouTube shows, and I'm happy to come out there and do it. But for me, it's mostly a test for me in terms of, um, you know, I'm going out there to the Midwest and I'm doing 5 shows, and do I like that? Do I like spending a week, you know, out of LA
Mhm.
doing this? So we wrote an amazing like 1 hour and 15 minute show, like a great show that I'm super excited to bring out. So it's just going to be a cool experiment to be like, do I like touring? And if I do, I'm going to find out in Chicago. I'm going to find out in, Ferndale and Grand Rapids and
Yeah.
Milwaukee, which is super exciting. It's sort of like I think the reason why we're doing the Midwest is because it's kind of, I don't know, like a safety thing, probably good vibes, good people. The decision was mostly from Real Good Touring. Um, but the idea is if this goes well, then we're going to go everywhere else in the U.S. So if
All
you're
right.
listening and you know who I am, buy tickets, please. DanielThrasher.com. But I'm super excited. I have a lot of friends in Chicago. Believe it or not, there's people who bought VIP seats to every single show
Really?
in the Midwest. Yes,
Wow.
they're traveling like they're either going to be following my van or something,
Oh,
or
jeez.
but they're going to go to every single show. There's
Wow.
five. There's like 5 of them, people who are doing it. It's super interesting, and
Yeah.
so I don't know how a lot of my shows really scripted and very tight and very particular. So it's going to be interesting to see how I can vary it up every night. There are elements of improv, but it's going to be super cool. Like shout out to them. They know who they are.
Yeah. And what can you tell us about this show?
Hmm. I can tell you that it involves, well, if you look on my Instagram or TikTok recently, you'll see clips from what I'm taking to the tour. So I did one show in Los Angeles. It was called Daniel Thrasher Laugh or Die. And let's say it's like a fight of good versus evil, just to sort of say that. But it's so hard to explain. I'll simplify it. It's me, a projector, and a piano. Um, to sprinkle in some bonus stuff, there's a loop pedal.
Ooh.
Okay. There's other characters calling in. Okay. There's audience participation. Okay. There are micro songs to be invented in front of people, improvisatorily. Okay. And it's a blast. It's really fun. Um, and the reviews were awesome. Like I have people, people were like, "This is the best show I've ever seen," and I'm like, "That's great. You haven't seen a lot of shows." No, but on Instagram, just this morning, somebody commented like, "Hey, I'm coming to see. My husband and I are coming to see your show in Michigan for our 1 year anniversary.
Oh,
So it
wow.
better be good." So shout out to them for applying very low pressure
Right.
to me. I really do appreciate that. But
Yeah,
there
their
is a lot
marriage
of
is in
like,
your hands.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of like classic like music comedy stuff that was written originally for this show that is not going to be seen anywhere else that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited for it as well. And what are some other things that fans
You're
can look?
coming, right?
I think so. I
Okay,
believe I
good.
am. It's like on the same
I
day as
can't
my
wait.
dad's birthday. So
What?
yeah. So
Well, happy birthday, Dad.
yeah, but I'm gonna try and be there.
Okay. Well, now do your dad's birthday. Ah, now I feel weird.
Oh, no, no, no.
Now I feel like I'm making you choose.
No. It's all right. Well,
Happy
I mean, the
birthday,
day
yeah, get
before
Dad to
is
take it.
Father's Day too, so it's
Say that again?
the day before is Father's Day too, so it's
Oh God,
yeah.
I have to buy flowers. Is that what you do? Is that what people do on Father's Day?
or ties.
I have to buy a toolbox.
Yeah. A grill.
I'm just gonna mail him. I'm just gonna mail him a socket wrench with like no return address. And instead of like a card that says Happy Father's Day, I'm just gonna put a Post-it note on there that says, "You are my dad." That's what I'll do. For
There you
Father's
go.
Day.
Yeah.
Thanks for the idea.
So yeah, what are some things that what are some other things that fans can look forward to?
For the live show?
Or just in general?
Well, they can look forward to Father's Day. I hear that's coming up. Well, I don't know. I mean, fans. Well, let me tell you this. I'm really excited about the content that's going to come out over the next couple of months. This upcoming week, this weekend, I have a sketch with Rhett and Link coming out.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is an exclusive. I don't know when this press thing's coming out, but yeah, Rhett and Link and I are making a sketch that's going to come out this weekend. I'm super excited about that.
All right.
I'm definitely feeling more collaborative. The goal for my channel, if we're going to start with my channel, is to be sort of like a one-man Key and Peele situation.
Okay.
To where every once in a while I'll have like a celebrity guest come in and
Yeah.
play with them, you know? So in terms of content, I'm going to start building out a lot more content that's really high effort and high quality. But for the show, you just have no expectations coming into the show. I mean, truly, like have no expectations because it's going to surprise you. You can't win in trying to predict what I'm going to do next. Like, for example, this echo effect. Did you predict that?
I did not. I really
Anyway.
didn't.
So there you go. But just, just sort of open your mind. And I'm just really excited. I'm working with my team on creating some amazing stuff in the near future. And some of it is, physical merchandise. Some of it is material. Maybe there's a TV show in the works. Who knows? Can't talk about a lot of stuff.
All right. And finally,
But I can do this echo effect. You'll never predict my next move.
and I'm jealous. I wish I had like an echo effect now. Oh well.
It's okay.
That's something I gotta invest in now for the
You
station.
just gotta invest.
And finally, if you could give any advice for someone that's looking to get into comedy or music or YouTube, what would it be?
Comedy or music or YouTube. So
I know I
anybody
really gave
interested in
you
the
like a very broad.
Yeah, that's a huge spectrum. I would say a lot of your greatest ideas are very small and they're the little itchy things in the back of your head. You got to catch those, put them down, and flesh them out. They're like hairs. They're invisible. Pluck them when they're fresh, okay? That's a weird analogy I got going on here. But like have like a notes app on your phone and just start writing, especially with ideas for comedy. You got to have a notes app. I have one that's pinned to the notes folder or whatever. It's just called Vids. And so it's the first thing I see whenever I open notes, so I can just immediately throw it down there. And that's how I know for sure that I have a list of like 1,000 ideas. If your goal is to do stand-up, start writing bits out. But for all of this, for comedy, for music, for YouTube, catch those initial ideas as fast as you can, and build on top of them. And don't be a perfectionist about it. Build until you think it's done. If it's good for you once, don't overthink it. Finish that idea, send it out there. A lot of people, when they're writing anything, they'll beat it to death because they forget what made it funny to them in the first place. So just finish the idea, move on, build some more ideas, and then a month later, come back to that original idea. If it's still funny to you, launch it, or if it still sounds good, launch it. But the idea is to match your taste level with your skill level. Eventually, they'll catch up to each other, and that just takes time. But just do it. Throw and go. That's what I call it. Throw and go.
All right.
And then I will do this reverb sound. Just one more time. You will not be able to predict my next move. Okay, there we go. See?
Yeah, so once again, Daniel Thrasher is going to be here at Ferndale at the Loving Touch. If you would like to try and win tickets, be sure to follow our Instagram and our Twitter at WXOU. And yeah, he's playing at 7 p.m. And you can, if you want to actually buy tickets as well, you can get them at DanielThrasherLive.com. So yeah, Daniel, thank you so much for joining me today.
You know what? Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this thoroughly. And this is my first ever radio interview. That's crazy.
Woo! Yeah.
That's so exciting. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you reaching out. This was so much fun.
Of course, yeah.